I'm not sure I should be classed as a speaker. I'm really here to just do some introductions. But it's a real honor to be part of this series, and certainly to be part of this series of talks tonight, as the arts are something that are very near and dear to my heart. And the topic, or the title for this Trent talk, is Vibrant Arts Build Strong Communities. And I think we certainly can see that as in the Peterborough community. I am, as Doug said, director of the Frost Centre for Canadian Studies and Indigenous Studies. I'm also a professor in the anthropology department, and before I came to Trent now 20 years ago, I had a career in the museum field and worked very much in and around the arts community, and certainly have a long-standing, passionate commitment to it, and a commitment to the idea that it contributes a lot to every and all community. Tonight's this afternoon's panel discussion, we'll hear from 4 representatives of the vibrancy and the importance of Peterborough, of the art scene in Peterborough. I would like to begin by saying that now more than ever there is a need to assert why art matters and why a productive and a supported art scene is important to many communities and to all communities. And I would hope that some of the conversation that we might have this afternoon about why the arts are vital in smaller communities such as Peterborough will be clear. There are many reasons why art matters in any community. They're vast. The reasons are vast and multifaceted. The arts push boundaries, encourage new ways of thinking, celebrate or lament the human condition. The arts can provoke, inspire, disturb. They can open your eyes to worlds other than your own. And it seems obvious to me that these things should be championed and enthusiastically embraced. The impact of the arts is not only on the industries, and I could expand at this point to opine on Florida's ideas of the creative class and on to statistics about which are many provided by groups such as the Ontario Arts Council, that document how arts contribute economically to communities, and that certainly is an important aspect of the art scene. But it is only one, and it's not one that I think should ever override all the other things that arts can contribute to a community. The arts are vital in classrooms, community centers, public spaces, and in the lives of everyday citizens. They offer us a chance to celebrate ourselves, to resist ideas that we aren't comfortable with and power structures that we might want to push back on, and they also work to transform the lives of people and their communities. But they also let us tell the stories about our place. And my own experience when I came to Peterborough 20 years ago was that I really didn't know much about Peterborough. I knew something about Trent. I came to teach at Trent, and I was very excited about that. And I think it was about 3 weeks into my visit here, I heard a news story on CBC about this amazing play about the great Farini. And there's something called the Fourth Line Theatre, and they were announcing its final performance, and I'd missed it, and I was really angry because I wanted to know what this was and what connection this had to the town of Peterborough. Well, that introduced me to Fourth Line, that it is through Fourth Line that I certainly have learned a lot about the history of this place, but also the capacity of people to create and make public stories that they have about their place. The visual art scene became very clear to me as I became involved in the Art Gallery of Peterborough as a dynamic one. Many important artists in and around the Peterborough community. The music scene in this town amazes me, and I think it's one of the best kept secrets in some ways. Certainly the Trent students, we have Trent students come who are very keen and interested in music, and it doesn't matter to them that we don't actually have a music program because the art scene, the music scene in Peterborough is so vibrant that they know that they will have a chance to expand their interests and enjoy and participate in that scene. Our 4 panelists tonight have extensive backgrounds in the arts, and I know have important and insightful things to say about why the arts build strong communities. I will give some introductory remarks about each of them and then just let them come up and then make a few remarks, and then we'll have a discussion at the end. So first, Robert Winslow is one of Canada's leading theatre artists, having established and developed the unique Fourth Line Theatre on his family farm in southern Ontario. He has written or co-written 12 of the original plays based on local history and culture that have been presented on the farm since 1992. He has also directed the majority of the productions and performed in several. As an actor, he has also performed in theatre across Canada, the US, and Britain since 1982, including such venues as the Blythe Festival, the Theatre Network in Edmonton, and the Edinburgh Fringe. In 1988, he also founded an improvisational theatre company, East City Productions, in Peterborough, and began directing and writing for the stage. One of his first plays, one of the first I saw, was Cabin Blazers, which was a very memorable experience in my life. He co-wrote in 1998 The Garden of the Dead and has directed Toronto's Rhubarb Festival. He also teaches a theatre workshop in cultural studies at Trent, and he is a recipient of the Queen's Jubilee Medal in 2002. His comments tonight, called Theatre on the Farm, the Fourth Line Story. He will talk about the genesis and development of the Fourth Line Theatre on his fifth-generation family farm near Millbrook, Ontario, and he will focus on the community-based nature of their professional theatre operation and share stories from their history of productions. Our second speaker will be Ian McLaughlin, who is a former colleague of mine, Professor Emeritus of Cultural Studies at Trent. He is also a poet, novelist, actor, and playwright, who is also a literary scholar with far-reaching publications on 20th century writers like Bertolt Brecht and Ezra Pound. In the 1960s, he founded and was chair of the Department of European and Comparative Literature at the University of Hong Kong. There he developed a concern for Asia, as revealed in his Shanghai 1949, his translations of Chinese and Vietnamese poetry, and his In the Margins of the Empire, Reading Cambodia, as well as a forthcoming novel. McLaughlin's earlier novels are The Seventh Hexagram, which Mordecai Richter qualified as, quote, the brilliant debut of an enormously talented novelist. Locally, Ian McLaughlin is an active writer, producer, and director, and has performed several multimedia performances, such as The Pioneer Chainsaw Massacre, which I didn't see, but having read that title, I'd like to see. Postscript, Lear 1-on-1, Frankenstein Meets the Recession, as well as plays created for the Fourth Line. He is curator of visual arts, has curated visual art exhibits, such as Art Against Repression, and is a founding member of the magazine Borderlines, which express the concern in all of his work and teaching for the political power which may be mobilized through artistic creation. His comments tonight are called Art and Resistance in a Small City. He will examine the complex energies that are released when a group of young people take over a downtown space, run it collectively, and start to make their own theater and music. Our third speaker will be Bo Dixon, who is a musician, singer, songwriter, producer, actor, and director, and playwright. All of these people are so multi-talented. And he was raised in Canada and currently is based in Peterborough, Ontario. Bo developed his passion for performance at an early age, singing and playing piano at church services and in school plays. He is a storyteller who crafts his songs based on personal experience. Stylistically, Bo's music has been called pop with an edge, folk with a beat, soul with a flavor, as one critic said, which I think is a great description. While touring the folk festival circuit, he performed in Peterborough, met Willie P. Bennett, Fred Eaglesmith, and fell in love with the Kawartha region. He has gone on to share the stage with a wide range of local, national, and international artists, including Serena Ryder, Chili Gonzalez, Ronnie Hawkins, Raffi to Eric Burden, Prairie Oyster, and Willie P. Bennett, and including the New Deal and Feist. As a producer and engineer and private music instructor, Bo has been operating out of Sound Kitchen, located in Peterborough, Ontario. His comments tonight will be called The Heart, H-E-A-R-T of the community, which I thought. He will focus on the significant relationship between art and community and integrating how art into small communities gives a purpose and sense of individuality. Our fourth speaker will be Pierre Christensen. Pierre is a visual artist whose body of work spans more than 30 years. He was born in Copenhagen but moved to Canada in 1959 and has lived in Peterborough since 1985. For more than 20 years, the foundation of Pierre Christensen's artwork has been almost exclusively oils. He has had several shows in Toronto, has shown at the AGP, and has worked in private collections across Ontario and Canada. He is well known for painting everyday scenes and making them extraordinary, and as one critic said, honoring the underappreciated space. But Pierre's contributions to the local arts community extend well beyond his own work. After relocating to Peterborough, the Christensens established the Williamson House Gallery, one of Peterborough's first commercial galleries, in 1986. They later combined two successful ventures, the Hunter West Gallery and the Starving Artist Frame Outlet, into one creative enterprise, Christensen Fine Art, a showcase for ongoing exhibits of contemporary Canadian painters from the local region and across the country. Respected for his support for and influence of other artists, Peter was recently named one of Peterborough's most 20 influential people. His talk tonight will be called Artists Matter. He will discuss the cultural and economic benefits of art production in contrast to the importance of having artists in our community and how they flavor this community with their positive and creative attitudes. So I'd like to ask you to welcome our speakers this evening, who will each make a short presentation and then we'll follow with questions afterwards. And I'd like to call up Ron.